Now, it's been revealed that 800,000 cubic metres of earth will be dumped in Buckinghamshire because of HS2. The figure was revealed at a community forum this week, with the earth coming from tunnels being dug to reduce the environmental impact on the countryside. That's 800,000 cubic metres. I've been trying to work out what on earth that looks like. Colin White is Planning Officer for the Chilterns Conservation Board. Colin, welcome to the programme.
Good afternoon, Roberto. How are you?
I'm struggling to grasp, Colin, how much soil this is.
Well, it would be soil and presumably also chalk if it's been dug out of the ground in the Chilterns, because that's what the Chilterns is made of. 800,000 cubic metres. If you're talking about a square that's 100 metres on each side, it would be 80 metres high. That's a lot, an awful lot. To get that to assimilate into any landscape, you'd have to reduce its height massively, and you therefore take a huge amount of land to do so. About 2 metres high, so about 6 foot plus. You're talking about a 40-hectare site. That's 100 metres by 4,000 metres.
The figures, the size is so vast. To be honest with you, Colin, I'm struggling to picture it in my mind. It's enormous.
Yeah, it's 50 football pitches, more than 50 football pitches, would give you a rough idea as to the sort of area that would be covered if it was about 6 or 7 feet high, about 2 metres high.
Okay.
And that, in terms of landscape impact, would be massive, no matter what you were to do with it. Because it would represent a fundamental change to that landscape that's already there.
Let me ask you a question in my best BBC impartial manner that I can. Why are you and other residents so annoyed by these proposals?
One of the key reasons I think we, the Conservation Board, and local residents who are clearly going to be affected by that are annoyed is that we've only just heard about this particular proposal, despite the fact that HS2 Ltd, that's the company doing a lot of the work behind this, have obviously let ministers and others know, because the design of the route, in terms of the land take and the excavation that's going to be needed with that, has been known about for a couple of years. Well, if they've known about it for a couple of years, why have you only just found out literally this week that that volume of material is likely to be deposited, literally thrown over the fence of the construction?
But would it really be, as you say, thrown over the fence and left in Buckinghamshire, or would they dispose of it in another... Maybe they can go and build another mountain somewhere?
There would be other places it could go to, clearly, but what we're being told is that there would be the deposition of this spoil would take place in Bucks, somewhere immediately adjacent to the line. We don't exactly know where yet. No doubt we'll find out at some point in the not-too-distant future. So they're looking at depositing it next to the line, not somewhere else, in the countryside, somewhere near where the construction would take place.
Now, Colin, HS2 Ltd say that the spoil will be landscaped, and if it's next to the line, some might argue it could reduce some of the sound of the rel. I mean, literally, they can sort of dig out the surf, the tunnels, 800,000 cubic metres, and then stack it along the sides to drown out and block out any train noise and sound.
Landfall may have some kind of impact in terms of noise, but the chances are that all it will do is push the noise slightly up, and then it will roll down the slope that's created on another side of this particular large landscape feature. Their buns aren't a good way of dealing with noise, I have to admit. I'm not an acoustics expert, but I know others have said the same thing. And at the same community forum where this was raised, one of the HS2 experts said it'll be designed to look nice.
Well, that would have been reassuring.
Indeed.
Is that the technical term? It'll look nice.
Yes, I think it is a technical term from HS2's point of view. There's no way you can design something of that bulk and volume to look nice. What you'd have is a massive amount of spoil that would be stored for quite a long time. When you put it onto the ground, the material becomes inert, it's dead. Nothing would grow on it unless you throw lots and lots and lots of...
What would you like to see them do with the earth, Colin? I mean, I'm short of dumping it in Kettering because no one cares, or over Slough, you know, but what would you like to see them do with it?
Well, if we had a fully bored tunnel, which we've been proposing for ages, then the material will be taken out of either end of the tunnel by train to somewhere else. Ideally, that's what we would like, and that's a case.
But no one's going to want it, are they? I mean, dump it somewhere else.
Well, there are holes in the ground, former quarries that could potentially be used, but that's not something we'd
need an awful lot of quarries.
You would for that particular volume of material, yes. and we've always said that in terms of the Chilterns, a fully bored tunnel is what we would like, and it should go.
I understand the anger that residents would have felt when they when this figure was sprung upon them this week. I mean, 800,000 cubic metres. Is it going to be another stick to try and beat HS2 or get off with? But ultimately, it's going to happen, isn't it?
I hope it doesn't happen ultimately, and I think yes, it is another stick. It's another stick because we've only just heard about it, and how are we to deal with that in terms of the landscape impact? We've got to assess that along with everybody else. And if you're talking about the Chilterns Area of Outstanding Natural Beauty, anything that happens ought to conserve or enhance the natural beauty. This massive, great big lump, no matter how big it is, will not do that. It won't achieve that purpose.
Colin White, Planning Officer for the Chilterns Conservation Board. And just to recap, the gentleman, was it from HS2, told you it would look nice?
It would be designed to look nice, yes.
800,000 cubic metres, and they'd make it, quotes, look nice.
Yes, that's what we understand.
How reassuring.
Indeed.
Colin, I wish you well.
All right, cheers then.
Okay. I'm trying to visit 800,000 cubic metres, but they'd make it look nice.
Debating the local issues.
Roberto Perrone on BBC Three Counties Radio.
They've really got to grips with that HS2 project, haven't they?